So to start us off, do you want to give us your name and talk about where you're currently living?
Yeah, my name is Jason Hall. I'm actually a realtor here in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Nice. And what about your experience in Las Vegas made you want to reach out to us for this interview?
I actually use the website a lot for research on what I do in different parts of town and more just Las Vegas, more than Las Vegas. But I use Las Vegas comparing to other cities in the United States. Sometimes I have clients that are moving from other states to here, and I like to be able to have all that information at my disposal so I can relay it to them and actually know what I'm talking about. It's good when you have data to back up what you're saying.
hmm That is good. So what are some things that you like about Las Vegas that you like to use to sell people on it?
One thing I that I did notice when I first came here is I had only been here, and just like the typical tourist, I've been to the Strip, and no one really ventures outside the Strip. It's very rare that they do. But just everything outside the Strip, there is a lot of people fail to realize that there's an entire city here. I mean, we have 2.2 million people in the metro population. So there's just so many other things to do. There's so many nature things. I love that. We have a dog. We can literally take our dog anywhere here. Um, so that was definitely one of the big things. There's just, I mean, the Strip is just such a minor, I mean, well, it's a major part, especially with the economy, but there is just so much outside the Strip that people just don't really venture out to take a look at.
Yeah, interesting. And on the flip side, what are some things about Vegas that you don't really like or wish were different?
I think the situation with a lot of major cities right now is, the homeless population is kind of growing, and especially with the one thing that I would say, if anybody moving to Las, if you have any sort of addiction, Las Vegas is not the place for you. Whether it's a drinking, gambling, drug addiction, because you literally can get into all kinds of trouble here, and I think that's part of what the homeless population here too is a lot of people have mental health issues and maybe addictions or just falling on hard times. So I mean that is one of the big things, and it's not really an annoyance. It's more of like when you're driving around, you just can't help to just feel horrible for these people, especially when it's 115 degrees outside. So so yeah, that's one of the things. And the drivers. The drivers here are horrible. And my wife and I are from New York. The drivers here are absolutely horrible.
Wow. So overall, good and bad, would you recommend someone move to Las Vegas?
Oh, I definitely would. Yeah. We've actually bought our house here. We've bought another property here. We're staying here. We're calling this home for a while. I mean, you can't beat the weather. 300 plus days of sunshine a year, coming from New York, where it's just reminds me of like the Batman movies, The Dark Knight, where it's just dark all the time. There's just, I mean, your vitamin D levels are better. Your mood is better because everyone's happy when it's sunny outside. So yeah, I definitely would. And there's so many things to do that just don't cost money. All the state parks, the desert. If you're into like dirt bikes, I mean, there's like it's like anarchy in the desert. People go out there and just shoot their guns and ride their dirt bikes, and it's just like lawlessness out there. So, but yeah, I definitely would recommend it. And the cost of living here is still, I believe, per your website, it's slightly above national average, but it's still a lot cheaper than most cities its size.
Yeah,
So it's
nice.
one of the good things about here.
So you said you're from New York. Did you go straight from New York to Vegas, or were there stops in between?
I was military, so I went from New York to Kentucky to San Antonio, Texas, to Washington D.C., back to New York, and then back to Washington D.C., and then we came out here.
Wow.
So I bounced around a little bit.
hmm So with all that experience, what do you think like was the biggest shift for you, like culturally, moving between states?
Um, I mean, I think the climate is definitely, when you're moving to a desert and there's really, it's like being on a beach, but there's no water at the beach. It's just all sand. So the temperatures, but also in a good way because we have a pool and it's almost November and we could still go swim right now, which is great. But also, I'd say one of the hardest things is being on West Coast time because I grew up and I'm so used to being, when you switch through the time zones, I don't know, I'm still trying to get used to that part. But
Mhm.
that's a minor thing. It's not, you get used to it, I guess. But
Yeah. So with all of your experience moving, do you have any tips for people who might be making moves in the future?
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite get that.
Oh, yeah. So with all your experience moving, do you have any advice for people who will be moving soon in the future, specifically to Vegas or just in general?
Um, well, first, if they're moving here, to give me a call because I can help them. No, but I would say the big issue that we had moving out here is our moving company was very bad too. If you're moving, make sure you inventory your stuff, photograph your stuff, make sure you have what you own and it shows up to your house because and I've had other people, clients move from out of state and everyone has a horror story about moving companies. Um, so that is definitely one of the big and then make a trip out there first, get to know the area, drive around, don't just stay in the tourist areas. And if you like a certain neighborhood, drive through there at night. If it's a safe neighborhood, if it's not a safe neighborhood, then you probably don't want to move there. But go look at the neighborhood, take a trip out there and drive around all hours just to kind of see. I mean, if you're going to be calling that place home, you want to see it in the night, you want to see it during the day, you want to see it odd hours just to kind of get a full feel of what you're going to be living around, especially if you have a family too. So
Nice.
that's definitely something I would recommend doing.
Great. Well, excellent. Thank you so much. I think that was all of my questions. Do you have anything you want to mention first? Maybe drop a website if people are looking to move to Vegas.
Oh, sure. I'll actually, my email address is jasonvegasrealtor@gmail.com. I know it's super creative, Jason Vegas Realtor, but you can reach me out there, or even if anyone has any questions, being a local and knowing the area and having been all over the city showing people stuff, I know a lot about the different areas. So just even drop me an email with some questions, best places to go eat. My wife is a major foodie and we have some of the best restaurants here. Um, so yeah, I'll be very open to help anybody with any questions they might have. So
Great. Excellent. Thank you so much. If you don't have anything else to add, we can sign off for the day. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to me.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye.